It's officially time to learn Chinese, because as long as Yang Hansen is wearing a Portland Trail Blazers jersey, everyone in that locker room better know exactly where and when to get him the ball. Language won't matter, because when he's on the floor, the game speaks through him.
Hi, I'm interested in you as a person. What are some of your interests?
All-time sleep. I like PS5. I like eat.
He's fluent in the universal language of buckets. If Summer League wasn't enough to turn heads, then this preseason just erased every doubt. 16 points. 1 quarter. Yeah, you heard that right. And these weren't easy points. They were statement plays. Watch closely. He sets the screen, slips out, catches it at the three-point line, sells a pump fake so smooth that Drew Eubanks bites hard, goes behind the back, spins off the contact, and finishes like a seasoned star. And the reason that pump fake worked? Just a few minutes earlier, he was chilling in the corner and drilled a clean 3. That's what makes him deadly. Defenders can't predict him. In just 1 quarter, Yang Hansen showed why Portland Trail Blazers took him 16th overall, hitting threes, making guards look silly, protecting the rim, and threading no-look dimes like a floor general trapped in a center's body. This wasn't a highlight. This was a preview.
Point Blazers lead. Sissoko up top. Gives it up to Hansen on the wing near side. Right hand to a beautiful feed to Sharp. Double clutch jam!
This is way bigger than a few flashy buckets and a couple of fancy passes. What we're witnessing right now is exactly why Portland Trail Blazers took a bold swing on Yang Hansen so early in the draft, and we're already seeing it translate on an NBA floor. Watch this play closely. He snatches the rebound, pushes the ball up, never slows down, keeps running the lane like a guard, and at full speed gets the ball back. Now pause. Look at where he makes contact with Drew Eubanks. That's not a normal layup angle. That's a geometry problem. At his size, moving that fast, taking a bump, and still adjusting midair, maybe 10 centers in the entire NBA can pull that off. And yeah, it's just a layup to some people, but that's the difference between a big man and a playmaker in a big man's body. Basketball is a game of angles, of timing, of touch, and Yang is mastering all 3 in real time. You just don't see 7-footers pump fake defenders out of their shoes, go behind the back like a guard, spin around with balance, and finish softly at the rim. That's not luck. That's skill, IQ, and confidence blending into one. We don't know how good Yang Hansen will become, but honestly, you could say that about every young talent, even someone like Cooper Flagg. Sure, there are concerns. His lateral quickness on defense still needs work, and foot speed is something he'll have to develop at the NBA level. But with his combination of size, touch, and basketball IQ, there's almost no scenario where he isn't a legitimate offensive weapon in this league. And that's before we even start talking about what he can do as a playmaker. He only logged 1 assist in that preseason matchup against Sacramento Kings. But that 1 dime? It was a beauty. A laser to Shadon Sharp right in stride. And it wasn't a fluke either. We saw this exact vision in the CBL, and then again in Summer League. When he gets the ball in the high post, the entire offense unlocks. Shadon can come off a handoff for a jumper or feed Yang in the pick and roll. And if the defense overplays it, a backdoor cut turns into an easy bucket because Yang sees everything before it happens. That's the danger. He's not just reacting, he's orchestrating. And that's something you can't teach. This next sequence is where you really start to see why Yang Hansen is built differently. His guard is getting pressured high up the floor, so what does he do? He slips behind the defense with a clean backdoor cut, and surrounded by defenders, he just drops the pass on the money. Perfect timing, perfect placement. That's not luck, that's a feel for the game that very few players, let alone centers, possess. And then there's this play. Honestly, it's just sexy basketball. He's standing up top again. The defense is aggressively trying to deny that dribble handoff, and boom, he flips the script, cuts backdoor, and slings a whip pass over the top like a quarterback threading the needle. How many centers in the league can make that pass? Think about it. Not many. Maybe a handful. Plays like these aren't just highlights, they're statements. And the craziest part? His scoring ability is only going to make his passing even deadlier. The more defenders respect his jumper, the more they'll push up to contain him, and the more backdoor lanes will open up behind them. especially if he becomes a consistent shooting threat. This becomes nearly unguardable. Watch these clips closely. Notice what's consistent? There's no rim protector waiting at the basket. That's because a passing big like Yang drags the opposing team's best rim protector away from the paint. The floor opens up, lanes become free, and the offense breathes. And this is where Portland's roster construction becomes fascinating. You've got athletes like Shadon Sharpe, Denny Avdija, Toumani Camara, and Jerami Grant, long, athletic wings who can handle the ball, make sharp cuts, and finish above the rim. That's exactly the kind of personnel you need around a playmaking big. Players like Yang, and yes, players like Alperen Şengün, they're special, but their ceiling depends on the pieces around them. Portland has those pieces. When Yang throws a dime to Shadon, it's poetry. Shadon rises like it's nothing, finishes strong. When Jerami or Denny cut baseline, they're at the rim in a flash. And the beautiful thing is, it's not just offense where this roster fits together, it's defense too. Aside from Shadon, every single one of those guys can fight around screens, contest, switch, and make life miserable for opposing guards. Add Jrue Holiday into the mix, and you've got a serious defensive backbone. Now let's address something important. The idea that Yang is a bad defender. I don't buy that, not even a little. In just 18 minutes against Sacramento Kings, he racked up 3 blocks. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in the CBL. He looked solid during Summer League. Does he have weaknesses? Of course. This is the NBA. The pace is faster, the athletes are quicker, and the floor spacing forces bigs to cover more ground. His lateral quickness isn't elite yet. But what matters is how a team builds around that. When you have guards and wings who can fight over screens and keep pressure on the perimeter, your center doesn't need to switch everything. He can sit in drop coverage, read the floor, and use his size to protect the rim and rebound. It's a team concept. We've seen even elite defenders like Rudy Gobert get exposed when the supporting cast isn't strong enough. We've seen Giannis Antetokounmpo struggle when the help isn't there. Yang doesn't have that problem. Portland's roster fits him like a glove. And then there's one moment from this game that might have been easy to miss, but said everything. He spots up in the corner, semi-transition, no hesitation, and drills a 3. That's not supposed to be something a rookie center does comfortably. Sure, a lot of big men take 3s from the top of the key during preseason, but corner 3s in rhythm? That's a different beast. It's a sign of confidence and commitment. He's not just experimenting, he's adding that shot to his arsenal. And if he does that, if he becomes a legitimate threat from deep, especially from the corners, it changes everything. A shooting big stretches the defense, pulls rim protectors away from the basket, and creates driving lanes for guards and wings. It also gives himself more room to pump fake, put the ball on the floor, and attack slower bigs off the dribble. That's a nightmare to guard. When people talk about Nikola Jokic, they always mention the passing, the post work, the sheer size. But the secret sauce? It's his shooting touch. That's what makes the rest of his game flow so beautifully. If Yang can master that too, it unlocks a level of versatility that can turn him from a promising young big into an offensive engine. Let's be clear. No one's saying he is Jokic, but his game is built on the same principles: vision, touch, patience, and a high basketball IQ. And if you give a player like that the right roster time and confidence, you're not just building around a rookie, you're building a system. Yang Hansen is just getting started. He's already shown the vision, the passing, the touch, the mobility, the IQ. Now he's showing the confidence to stretch the floor. And Portland, they might have just found their cornerstone. If you've made it this far, that should tell you one thing. This isn't hype. This is real. And if this version of Yang is what we're seeing now, imagine what's coming next. Welcome to the Yang Hansen era. And hey, if you want more deep breakdowns like this, you know what to do. Subscribe, drop a like, and stick around. This is going to be a wild ride.